Hey guys, I'm Kyler Wilson, and this is my lovely, lovely co-host, Monica Kasurk, and this is another episode of FilmRants. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Why you gotta be taking my lines, though?
No, that was the one. Good thing we're not running film. I'm falling into pieces
Someday.
On today's episode of FilmRants, we're tackling Guardians of the Galaxy.
This was definitely a fan favorite of 2014. It ranks 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and made over $700 million at the box office.
It stars a wonderful cast, including, but certainly not limited to, Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, and Benicio del...
Shirtless Chris Pratt! Chris Pratt, shirtless. Did you ever imagine that it would be that great? Really? I didn't imagine it would be that grand. Chris Pratt.
So, to get the ball rolling, we'll let Monica kick off with a 2-minute spoiler-free review.
A group of intergalactic criminals are forced to work together and stop a fanatical warrior from taking control of the universe.
Seems to me that Guardians of the Universe might have been a more appropriate name then.
You're just hating on Chris Pratt. Stop hating on Chris Pratt. Hater, hater, hater. In the great words of Taylor Swift, haters gonna hate. Hate, hate. Hate, hate, hate. The soundtrack was amazing. It just took me back to when I was a kid, and it's such great music that I know young kids today have no idea what great music is, and I'm starting to sound like my dad.
Yeah, so the soundtrack was good. I can't argue with that at all. Like, they picked some great songs from the past, the yesteryears, to show, and they were amazing. And the score was great as well. I mean, I can't argue with it. So yeah, I guess point to Guardians.
And that backstory of the mother's death was so heart-wrenching. Oh, it ate at my heartstrings. It was so sad.
It was super sad. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that was a very sad moment in the movie. I do feel slightly betrayed. I mean, maybe it's just me, but you know, they set up this, like, it seemed to me like they set up a very dark path for us to go. It was a very dark tone that the movie started with, and we didn't get that at all. It was an action adventure comedy sort of film. So I don't know. I mean, that's it. But to your point, it was a very well set up backstory for Chris Pratt's character. So another point to Guardians.
And this role, I definitely feel, was right up Chris Pratt's alley. It was pretty much built for him. It bears a lot of similarity to his character on Parks and Recreation. And he has that same kooky, stupid, funny, lovable at the same time. However, in Galaxy, he had a little bit more smarts, which really shows that he can stand alone as an actor, but he's still gonna always have that comedic aspect no matter what role he takes.
Well, I've never watched Parks and Rec, so I've heard it's pretty good. So I didn't even know who Chris Pratt was. To be fair, I didn't know who Guardians of the Galaxy were either. So when I found out that it was Chris Pratt behind this guy, I didn't have any feelings towards it whatsoever. But that being said, once I watched the film, the guy definitely can act. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I will give Guardians of the Galaxy credit for the simple fact that, yes, they showed me who Chris Pratt was. So, fine, you know, I can't argue again. Good actor, point for Guardians.
Sounds like you liked the film a lot then. So what's the problem?
Let me start by saying I really did like the film. There's no doubt about it that there were a lot of great things going on. It looked amazing. The CG was great, usually. The music was awesome. The story was awesome. They introduced Chris Pratt, as we've already mentioned. But I think what my real issue is, I've got really two big issues. And the first is where Guardians of the Galaxy sits within the Marvel Universe. I really feel like Marvel's painting themselves into a corner, and I think that it's going to all collapse like a Jenga tower. You can just look at the way that they're introducing this character and that character and this character and that character, and I feel like they're desperately just trying to make everything bigger and better, and I think that it's all just going to come crumbling down. But that's really kind of a different tangent. Maybe that's more of a I have a problem with the way Marvel's doing something with their entire universe versus Guardians alone, because Guardians alone is great. But I do have a huge issue with this specifically, and I have this issue with every superhero film, that there are no stakes involved. You never worry about Superman dying. It's fucking Superman. You never worry about Batman dying. It's Batman. You never worry about Wolverine dying. It's Wolverine. And I never worried about the Guardians of the Galaxy dying, because they're the Guardians. The movie's named after them. Why would Marvel spend $100 million to make a movie on something that they're just going to destroy? And so, at the end of the day, we all know they're going to be just fine. I mean, can you disagree with that, really?
Guardians of the Galaxy is really, I think, going to stand out just because people didn't really know about them. It made people look for them. They're not your conventional heroes. They really bring a couple of different things to the table as far as separating themselves from these other universes that they're trying to intertwine with.
Well, look, we both agree that the movie's good. There's no doubt about that. But we also both agree, and we've found some issues with the film. Right?
Right.
So now's the time. If you haven't watched this movie, you should probably turn us off, go watch the film, come back to us, and tell us if we're wrong. So to get started, Monica's going to kick us off.
In 1988, Peter Quill's mom dies one of the most traumatizing deaths in the opening of a movie since Bambi.
No! No!
Then he's abducted by aliens. Flash forward 26 years later, where Quill is a rootin' tootin' space pirate who remarkably looks similar to Bungie's Guardians from Destiny. Quill has a run-in with one of the bad guys' lackeys and steals the orb. Quill goes to sell the orb on the planet Xandar, and that's where he meets Gamora. And we get a little green booby action from Zoe Saldana. We also meet Rocket and Groot. They all fight for the orb and get arrested. They go to jail where they meet Drax. And just like that, the Avengers assemble.
So they break out of prison because, of course they do. They do so with such a crazy, insane series of circumstances that my brain is still just spinning, trying to wrap my head around it. So they take the orb, and they go and they meet the Collector, played by Benicio del Toro, aka Collector of some really, really weird shit. They discover that the inside of the orb has an Infinity Stone. And then blah 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 blah, and the bad guy Ronan steals the stone. What's wrong? You didn't know really who Ronan was or even give a shit about his story? Don't worry, neither did we. Anyways, blah 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 blah. And Quinn reaches for the stone and grabs it to save the day. Now, I know what you're thinking. Quinn and the Guardians are doomed, because that's what the stone does. We saw it in that flashback. But what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. They don't die because Marvel doesn't want to take $1 billion shit, even if it does smell like roses. I mean, after all, we're supposed to be rooting for the heroes, right?
Yeah, we thought so too. Then we realized...
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
I want you to look at something. You see this guy? This guy right here? Yeah, that's a bad guy. And you see that guy? Yeah, that's a dead guy. And this is how many times we see the bad guy make dead guys. Okay, now, you see these guys? These are our precious heroes, our good guys. And That's a dead guy, that's a dead guy, that's a dead guy, that's a dead guy, and boom, dead guy, boom, dead guy, boom, dead guy, boom, dead guy. For the love of fucking God! The Guardians are a bunch of psychopaths. They just murder people who get in their way. Chris Pratt is a womanizing asshole who probably has more illegitimate children than a Maury Povich show.
You are the father!
Gamora is a space whore
And this green whore, she...
Oh, you must stop!
who spent her entire life putting up with this dick until now.
Rocket's fucking insane.
Drax is a warmonger hell-bent on revenge.
And then you got Groot. Don't tell me Groot ain't plotting. I know at least one of those I am Groots was a racial slur.
I hate humans!
Why does this alien act like a redneck from bumfuck nowhere who's just been fighting hordes of zombies for the last 2 years?
Apparently AA batteries are the cosmic norm to keep this baby running. Why did we hire Vin Diesel for a role he didn't show up for?
I am Groot!
Why did we hire Batista for a role he didn't show up for?
You! Man who was slain with the Lascavarian.
Wee! Look at me! I used to be a wrestler! We fucking get it. Why did we hire Frieza for this movie? Why did this movie steal, verbatim, the ending to Iron Giant?
We are Groot.
Look, seriously though, I really did like the film. Monica liked the film, right?
I loved it.
So, it's a great film. You should definitely go watch it. I'm gonna stick around for the end credit sequence.
What do you let it lick you like that for? Gross.
Howard the Duck! Howard the Duck! Howard the Duck! Howard the Duck!
Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. Come around next week, same time. We'll have another video for you.
Be sure to like and subscribe and hit us up on Facebook and Twitter.
Bing, bam, boom. What'd you think of Guardians of the Galaxy?
Then he's abducted by alien. Then he's abducted. No, that's not happening right now. Then he's abducted by. Then he's abducted.